All right, thanks everyone. My name is Phil Derksen, and this talk is for you if you're still at a day job or consulting gig and you're trying to get that first 5 to 10K a month to buy out your time, and you're open to selling WordPress plugins as a way to get there. So for me, this was recently. I got to this point late last year and recently quit my day job. So, thank you. And I couldn't have done it also without this community, Rob and Mike, the academy, this whole thing. So I owe most of it to that. So I'm going to go right into coming up. So freemium plugin is the way to go as far as what worked for me. So it works. Because you're just going to get a lot of traction in the WordPress.org forums. And if you give that up, you're giving up a huge traffic channel. So, and getting ideas there, it's the same place. You go through the forums, what are people requesting, what are the issues, what are the pain points they have. You can scour the forums and get that. And that's, and there's another tool called searchwpplugins.com. It's just more advanced search. But that's what I recommend of getting ideas. And you want to, for your ideal target customer, you want to really consider the B2B versus B2P, the prosumers. It can work with the prosumer. It's like the do-it-yourselfers, like they're setting up their own site. Maybe they're not real technical, they're a little more price sensitive, but that can work. It's a different route. My first plugin was B2P, and the free-to-pay conversion rates between those two, it's just going to be a longer road. You're going to have more support down the road, that kind of thing. To give you an example, so a couple of guys here you can talk to. WP Migrate DB, it's Brad Tunard here, he's an attendee. And coming soon, it's John Turner. He did an attendee talk last year. Both those guys have really B2B focused plugins, and it's worked well for them, and they're way past where I'm at my point. So there's like freelancers, agencies, consultants. Those are and e-commerce would also fit that bill. Those are the B2B type plugins. Everyone else is kind of the other category. So like general plugins like photo galleries and social media plugins, those are the types of plugins, I should say, that would fit that category. And my own Pinterest-related plugins, the same thing. So just ask yourself, does your plugin solve, like, is there a direct way to relate? Are you saving them time or money, or making them money or saving them time with your plugin directly? Can they directly quantify that? So here's some numbers of my plugin. So my first one is the longer ones, it's been around longer, are the Pinterest plugins. There's the free plugins itself. The free plugin itself has 30,000 active installs right now, and quite a bit more downloads. But you'll see it's only 35% of my sales. My Stripe plugin, only 2,000 plus. But you'll see 65% of my sales. So there's just a comparison there. So ideal plugin types. If you can, don't mess with theme output. Don't mess with the front end. Let me qualify this, that a lot of plugins, that is their job. And all three of my plugins right now do this. But if you can't avoid it, because of the niche you're going after or the idea you're going after, it's going to save you quite a bit of support load down the road. And the reason is there's just an infinite number of WordPress themes out there, customized, tweaked. So as soon as you're changing around any kind of front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's a lot of support. It can work. That's just a suggestion. Well, WP Migrate DB, so that just transfers database records. And Coming soon, and so that's just on the back end. There's no front end messing with front end at all. Coming soon, he's overriding the whole front end with his, he's taking over the front. There's an email opt-in or whatever, but he's getting rid of the theme, so to speak. And so there's a lot of other good ideas like this that don't mess with the front end, and that's email notifications. Payment gateways are a big one in the WordPress community. So launching your first plugin, I suggest get it out real quick. I mean, and you can, because you're building on a framework. 1 to 3 months development's tops. Keep the settings real simple. Don't do any fancy UI stuff in the settings. Just real simple options. There's a lot of built-in UI elements that you can just use that already WordPress provides for you. Skip custom tables and post types if possible. So these are very useful things to do in plugins down the road, and you might even need them for what you're working on. But it does add a lot of development time. And if that first free plugin that you get out there can avoid that, it's just going to be out there much quicker. So I have Pinterest plugins, a Stripe checkout plugin, and I have a Google Calendar plugin in the works. The data for all those that I'm pulling, or Pinterest, I'm pulling all their stuff through their API. With Stripe, I'm storing everything on Stripe. I'm not storing anything in my WordPress database right now. Even in the Pro plugin right now, even though that might be coming. Google Calendar, I have custom post types, which is a way of storing in WordPress, but all the calendar data is people, it's their Google Calendar. I'm not storing all that stuff in my own custom tables for a calendar. So here is my first plugin was simply a Pinterest pinup button. And I went to Pinterest, and there's the embed code that they give you. And there's a few options that you don't see on here, but the last point there was don't make users edit code or FTP. So just even though a lot of us here don't mind doing this, opening up code, plunking this in there, changing a few things, most of your users, even other developers, would love to skip this step. And that was my first plugin. I just took this, put in some settings in a settings page, put it out there, and that's what got the ball rolling. So, and yeah, even as a developer myself, if I can avoid actually going and editing the code, I prefer that too. So launching your first free plugin, the README text is your landing page. It's what's going to come up when people search in the admin and when they're searching on Google, because it's hosted on WordPress.org. You can also add a plugin banner, intro video, screencast to that. And building your mailing list from day one. I've done this with all my free plugins. You can plop it somewhere in the settings and just start collecting those email addresses. Build up to your launch, and then later on you can change that to an upsell to your paid plugin. Just ship it, get it out there quickly. Don't spend a ton of time talking. Well, you can get it out there quickly and only talk to a few people or respond to a few things, but what's going to happen is once you get that simple free plugin out there, then you'll start getting people using it and responding in the forums there, and then you can start engaging with them there and get ideas on how to proceed. And just keep responding in the forums. Fix bugs if you need to, and then for the folks that are happy with your plugin, and you just ask for a review straight out. So there's reviews built in, and if you get those reviews coming in, then that's going to just get you that much farther along quicker. And if you can reach out to other WordPress sites, say, hey, here's my new free plugin, get written up. A lot of sites out there in the community that like to do that. And so let's say you're not getting these responses in the forums, you're not getting downloads, that kind of thing. Then now you've only spent a month creating this, right? So now let's pivot. Maybe you don't even have to launch a whole new plugin. Maybe you slightly tweak it, rename it, change around the README copy, that kind of thing. Here's some of the settings page examples. On the top left, that's in my gcal plugin, which is currently in the free stage right now. There's no pro plugin yet, but I'm building up the list. It's just something above some settings in there. Get notified when features are released. Real simple. Maybe I could work on that line, but it's working. So on the bottom left is my Stripe checkout, my free Stripe checkout plugin. What you see when you go to the settings, it's on the right side, sidebar. It's just listing off some features they get if they upgrade, and upselling them straight to call to action, straight to my site where I sell it. And that is probably around a third to half of my traffic. It's coming from that. So again, Brad's WP Migrate DB. This is his free plugin settings. I like what he did here. Probably going to steal it soon. He is he's getting you on an email list, opting you in, and sending you a discount code for the upgrade, all in one there. And he's pre-filling the email because the person's logged in. So great idea. I'm going to go through this quickly. But building your first paid plugin, hire a developer and hire support. This is going to vary from person to person, whether you're a developer or not. But if you can invest in this early and get this ball rolling, then your day-to-day tasks later on, especially for support, it's just going to be out of the way, and you can push the business forward. I hired a developer partway through. I've hired several, but I did partway through my free plugins after I got it started, at least on my first one. And then so you want to sell on your own sales site, in my opinion. There are marketplaces out there, Code Canyon and whatnot, that work for some people, but you'd have to bring the price down, they take a big cut, all that kind of stuff. It's worked for me. It's a little more work, but if you set it up on real WordPress hosting, and what I mean by that is like managed WordPress hosting, WP Engine, Pagely, those kinds of hosts, you're going to pay more, but the admin tasks are taken care of for you. If you get cheap shared WordPress hosting, which works for simple landing pages that you guys might have done, that's fine, but not. This is going to be processing, distributing your license key, your plugin, your license keys, and so on. So you need something good. And get these admin tasks out of the way. Don't spend time on them. They have staging sites, automatic backups, all that kind of stuff. You just don't want to worry about that stuff. So Easy Digital Downloads is a plugin itself that is the e-commerce plugin to sell it. I just use it. It's good. It works for me. It works for some other guys here. It has basically out of the box, you can start accepting payments with PayPal, Stripe. You can dish out license keys. People can get the updates from your site using that license key. And it just gets better and better. And keep that mailing list warm that you've been building it while you're developing this. Send them stuff, help, what's coming, that kind of stuff. Build up the launch. All right, so task to skip until 5K-ish. Okay, so all these might help, and they probably do at some point. I'm starting to test some of these, but I don't think you need to do them to get to that first milestone. So you're policing license keys and stolen code. This might become a problem later on, but you can't worry about anybody stealing all your code, reselling it, whatever, that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to happen. There might be somebody that installs on way more servers than they bought, but you can track down some of that if you want, but you should not spend time on that. And some of these other things, paid acquisition, retargeting, A/B testing. If you're spending too much time on that, then you're not getting the plugin out fast enough. And remember, that this is for people that are doing this on the side or very limited time too. If you have the time, maybe you want to do this in the beginning. So more than a little content marketing, I'm sure this is a good idea later on, and I want to start doing more of it, but I found myself spending way too much typing up blog posts, or didn't have, I'm already spending on a developer and support, wasn't ready to hire a good writer, those kind of things. Affiliate program, people always ask, and I have one set up because it's easy, but I've never really made a whole lot from it up to this point. Start simple, get it out there, target ideal plugin types. Let's see, B2B over B2B if possible. Scour the forums, pivot if you need to, and get good managed hosting and set up easy digital downloads. All right. And if you want to hear more of my backstory, I was just on Startups for the Rest of Us a few weeks ago. Check that out. And if you want to talk more plugin like MVP ideas and such, catch me after. And or if you're past that stage or you want to know what happens after, myself and some other guys. Or if you want to talk about selling your plugin or adopting acquiring. So thanks, everyone.